So I'm going to do a quick review on the Mako Pro Skiff 15, mostly because I can't get out and fish right now and do the actual content that I want to make. But yeah, this was the first boat that I ever personally owned, this guy right here. Aside from like kayaks and stuff like that, but first actual boat was powered. So there was a lot of pros to owning this boat as a first boat, a lot of cons as well. I'm going to go over both and just try to be as transparent as possible and not be too nostalgic and paint it with rose-colored lenses too much. But yeah, I'm going to be try to be as honest and thorough as possible about how I felt owning this boat as a first boat, and some of the things I would look out for, maybe, and if I would buy it again as a first boat. So yep, the Pro Skiff 15 center console right here. It's a skiff, as you can see, mostly for bay type applications. I think freshwater it could be pretty good too. I never put it in freshwater. Not really meant for those long haul deep sea trips, although I did take it out a couple times. Yeah, although I did take it out a couple times out in deeper waters, but I think it's for sure a purpose-made boat for calmer situations, as you can see just by the hull design and the shallow gunnels. It's 15cc because it's a 15-foot center console skiff, and yeah. So you can get it for right around just over $20,000. Mine was a 2023 Pro Skiff 15, and I think, yeah, I got it for right around 20. This was a few years ago, of course. And that's basically the reason why I decided to buy this boat. I was looking at John boats at first, but I decided I wanted to go fiberglass and get an actual boat for my first boat, just so I can kind of get the experience of it, kind of learn about maintaining and operating a boat like this before transitioning later on to a bigger boat. But the decision point for me was basically the price tag. They're really cheap for what you get, and on Reddit a lot of people recommended it as a first boat, partially due to the price point. I think they're a little bit more expensive now just based off of this, but I mean still really affordable for what you get. And also the no haggle national price thing, I don't know if it's like this with all boat manufacturers. Both boats that I've owned, there was no really haggling involved. It's kind of like the price tag is the price you pay, which I liked. I find the haggling situation when buying vehicles and other things like that to be really tiresome. So I pretty much saw the price on the website, called it Bass Pro, emailed back and forth a little bit, and I paid basically exactly that, minus, you know, tax tags and titles, things like that that you're gonna have to, of course, pay regardless. Yeah, let's flip through some photos. My skiff looked extremely similar to this. I think this one has the 40 horsepower. I had the 60, which was beautiful. Loved it. It was a lot of power for a boat this size. I'm a bigger guy. My brother's a bigger guy as well, so the 60 definitely helped, and we always loaded it down with, you know, tons of equipment and ice, things like that. So I think the extra juice was definitely worth it. Yeah, let's just flip through here. Yeah, I mean, this is the basic configuration that we would do. Load up all our rods, reels right here. It doesn't really have anything specifically for trolling built into it. We kind of had to improvise whenever we wanted to troll for like Spanish mackerel or anything like that. But they fit really comfortably right here. Yep, side view. Single axle trailer, super easy to drive and get around, but you know, with single axle trailer, if you pop a tire, you're kind of screwed there. So it was really light, really easy to trailer. View from the top. Yep, gas tank is somewhere below here. You can't really see it. Can't remember what size the gas tank was, but it is pretty limited. Yeah, so you got to pick and choose your routes wisely or have some spare fuel on board. There's not a huge gas tank on this thing. Right here, you got some storage, which was cool. Toss some life vests and some stuff like that down there. And then anchor storage, which I hardly ever used. Let's see what else we got. More of the same. Yeah, just kind of showing. Oh yeah, the seat itself is actually a cooler, a really good cooler. I think it kept ice really cold. It was fairly comfortable as well. No backrest or leaning post or anything like that, but it was okay. Oh, another thing to mention is you do have your well right here, bait well. I'll touch on that a little bit more later, but these bait wells on the Mako Skiff 15 at least have a lot of issues. I think everyone that's ever owned a Mako Skiff Pro 15 will tell you that it is a very common issue for these things to not work properly. There's entire like Facebook support groups and Reddit threads talking about different ways to repair them, and it's very difficult to get Bass Pro or the dealership to repair it for you. It's a well-known defect, and I think all Mako Pro Skiff 15s have this issue. I don't know why it hasn't been remedied. Maybe on the 17 and other models it works better, but this thing would get airlocked basically and not fill up with water properly. So we hardly were able to use this thing, which was one of the reasons why I ended up getting rid of the Skiff later on. Yeah, this is what it looks like. These photos are making me feel very nostalgic. I had so much fun on this boat. It was a great first boat. I had a lot of fun on it. I learned a lot on it. Just some of the basics of boating and trailering, things like that. And this looks extremely similar to a lot of the conditions that we took the boat out in down there in Florida. Let's see what else we got. Yep, home seat cooler. The cooler works extremely well. I'll give that as a pro for the Skiff 15. Kept ice really cold. It was super sturdy, like Yeti quality sturdy. It's removable, so you can take it out to clean it if you need to. And the cushion up top was super comfortable to sit on. I never had an issue with it. And I think it's lockable, if I remember correctly. I never really ended up locking it. There was never anything valuable in there other than like ice water and fish. Bait well, awful. Nobody has anything good to say about the bait well on the Mako Skiff Pro 15. I'll just say, to be honest, if you're looking into buying a Mako Skiff 15, don't rely on this bait well at all. Just because the issue is so common. I think it's like ubiquitous. I think everyone basically has problems with this bait well getting airlocked. I never fixed it on my own. YouTube has tutorials, there's Facebook groups, but you know, do that at your own, at your own risk tolerance, because I don't know if it would void your warranty, but I didn't want to start drilling holes and start adding aftermarket stuff just to get this bait well working, so we hardly ever used it. We used it for storage sometimes, but I think I got it to work properly maybe once and one time only, and the dealership will tell you all kind of wacky stuff, like different order you got to turn on and off, and you got to turn it on right as you're dumping the boat in the water just so it doesn't airlock, or weird stuff like that. But it shouldn't have to be like that. It shouldn't be like that. It's definitely poor engineering on this bait well right here. Not to mention this seal right here. It didn't have a great seal. This little gasket right here, this rubber seal, would leak also. So yeah, I don't have anything good to say about that bait well at all. Hull was great, no issues there. Trailer, like I said, no issues there. Super easy to trailer, super light. I mean, honestly, I learned how to back up a boat and back up a trailer using this single axle trailer, and I'm still not an expert, but I think I learned the basics and got a lot of experience and a lot of repetitions just due to having this really light boat, this really light trailer as well. Yep, we had the 60 horsepower motor, loved it. It was super adequate for the size and weight of the boat. 15-foot boat, pretty small as far as boats go, but very good, very manageable. Didn't feel like too much boat for my first boat. They say 32 to 36 miles per hour on the 60 horsepower. I don't know if we ever got it up to that. Like I said, we're heavy guys. We had a lot of equipment, a lot of ice and things like that. But I mean, it was adequate. Yeah, all basic stuff here. Anchor locker, hardly ever used it, but I mean, it does have a anchor locker. 360-degree fishability. Yeah, very 360-degree fishability. Just because it's so small, the gunnels are so low, you can get around this entire thing extremely easily. Fuel, 6.6 gallons. That was very limiting for us. I didn't really feel like it was enough. A lot of people swap out the fuel tanks, or they'll do two fuel tanks because there's plenty of room underneath that back casting platform, that back deck. You could put a second one. It's a very common 6.6 gallon fuel tank, so some people get the exact same one, just have two of them, and other people just have fuel cans. But we would find that this fuel tank would run out extremely quickly, especially when trolling or going outside of the bay. Yeah, more photos, making me feel very nostalgic. Another thing I do want to mention is that, let's see if I can find a good photo so I can kind of demonstrate. Let's go back up to the top. So I had issues with the gel coat almost immediately, and I got it repaired. It was covered by the warranty, so the dealership fixed it. But right here in front of the bait well slash seat, let's see what it looks. Yeah, so this seat right here, between the seat and this front casting platform, I had issues with gel coat almost immediately. So I would get a seam that would crack from here to here. So from the front of the seat to the front casting platform almost immediately. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a common issue for the Pro Skiff 15s, but got it repaired, and almost immediately it happened again. It felt like a soft spot. You would hear it crunching and crackling below you as you were walking there. That made me very uncomfortable for my first boat to have gel coat issues almost immediately. But it was just a seam that you can't really see from this photo, but a seam that runs like right along, right between the middle of the seat and this front casting platform. That would just crack, you know, no matter what. Even if you tried to avoid it, it would crack. So just something to be aware of. Yeah, so basically what I'll say about this boat is I think it could potentially be a good first boat for somebody that's looking to get into boating, or somebody that's going in calmer conditions or bay conditions where they're not going to want to reach out and get a little bit farther and go in rougher waters. It did have its issues. Like I said, gel coat issues from the front of the seat all the way up to this front casting platform, which even after being repaired from the not from the manufacturer, from the dealership, still returned. So even with the professional grade repair, it would continue to happen. Another thing is the bait well. They're bogus. They basically don't work. I wish I could blame it on inexperience or user error, but it's such a common issue that you find with everyone that owns these all over the internet. You can find it all over YouTube, people trying to figure out these bait wells, and I think it's just a manufacturer defect that they need to figure out there at Mako. But there, I mean, there was plenty of good in it. It's super light, super easy to trailer, so I was able to learn the basics of trailering this thing. I was able to move it up and down from North Carolina to Florida extremely easily. My truck had no problems trailering this little thing, and it wasn't terrible in my fuel economy. Also, just learning how to put a boat in the water and move around was really simple to do on this thing. It's very easy to control a tiny boat of this size. It didn't have a whole lot of mass behind it, so it was very forgiving. And the price point, like I said, makes it very approachable as a first fiberglass boat. But if I were to do it again, I think I would have saved up a little bit more money and gotten a different boat, maybe slightly larger, for the reasons that I outgrew this boat extremely quickly. As soon as I started having fun with it, catching a lot of fish in the bay and going out just a little bit outside the pass, I found myself wanting to get out farther and deeper, and this boat could do it to a certain extent, but with the limited fuel capacity and the shallow gunnels and just the shape of the boat, I didn't feel like it was safe, and I had to very mindfully pick and choose my days carefully that I would take it outside the pass. And even then, even under great conditions, it didn't feel super comfortable compared to, you know, other boats that I've been on, or for instance my new boat, which is a little bit bigger, you know, V-shaped hull, center console with higher gunnels. I would potentially recommend it to somebody as long as they kept those things in mind, that this is, you know, basically a bay boat meant for the bay, or potentially freshwater. You're not going to get out too far with it. You're not going to be able to troll too long with it. But if you are a guy that's really into like trout or redfish or things like that inshore in the bay, flounder, things like that, it's perfect. It get around the bay just fine. It'll do bay-like conditions just fine. But if you're somebody that wants to stretch out, go a little bit farther, maybe save up another season, get a slightly bigger boat, and then also just keep in mind that you're gonna probably have bait well issues with this boat, and you might have Jelco issues with this boat, which for some people might not be a showstopper, but for me, those were major concerns of mine. So basically after a season or so, I traded in this boat for almost what I paid for it down there in Florida, and then I went ahead and upgraded to a bigger boat, a Robalo R200, and I have zero regrets upgrading to that new boat. So yep, those are my thoughts on the Mako Pro Skiff 15. I have a lot of fond memories on this boat, caught a lot of fish on this boat, but would I buy it again for my first boat, knowing what I know now? Probably not. And I don't know if it's a Mako thing. I don't know their reputation as a manufacturer. I don't know if their other boats have as many issues, or if it's just because this is an entry-level boat and you get what you pay for, which is probably true as well. But there was good and bad with it, and I just wanted to make sure that I didn't shy away or obfuscate the fact that I did have a few issues with this boat as well. But I'm very thankful that I was able to afford this boat and get this boat as a first boat, just because of what I did get out of it and the times that I did have on it fishing and getting around. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Baby. Oh,
Let's go.
let's go. Coming up. Oh, trigger ball.
Is it? Let's go. First trigger.
Yes.
Nice. I just got the skunk off the boat. Damn it, I thought it was a redfish. Okay, that looks better. It actually is really calm tonight too. This is a kind of good night to do this. In theory, this is where the redfish should be. I'm trolling around trying to find something to sight cast at. I've seen some bait. I haven't seen any fish though. But it's nice out, man. I mean, I can see the bottom.